Okay, guys, here's a question for you. Have you ever done the right thing with the right heart and it turned out bad? Or maybe you had something selfish. You did something selfish or negative in nature and it turned out to be good. You got something better out of it. Okay? There's a concept that I want to share with you today that when it comes to an event or something that happened in our life, there's the time leading up to the event and the time after the event. And I'm going to label these two as the time leading up to the event is what is the intention, and then afterward, what was the outcome? Now, when it comes to the intention, what was your intention? What was the intention of others? What did nature have in store? Whatever the case may be, there's either positive intention or negative intention. Okay, so let's say you had a positive intention. There was the event, the thing, whatever happened, and there was a positive outcome. Or there was a negative intention, there was something selfish going on, there was the event, and it resulted in a negative outcome. But sometimes you can have a positive intention, the most well-meaning, I wanted to help this individual, and it turned out bad. There was a negative outcome. Or maybe there was a negative intention, somebody or something meant harm. Maybe you meant to do something selfish, but it turned out for the positive for either you or somebody else, like backfired on you perhaps. So what does that make the event? Is the event positive or negative? Is it good or bad? And I'm going to challenge your thinking today. You may or may not agree with this, but I believe the event is neutral. It is neither good nor bad. It is neither positive nor negative. There's no judgment in the event. It is. It was. And that makes the event, I believe, divine. And now the only thing that's keeping us, you, stuck in this mindset of looking at the event that happened as either good or bad is our judgment, is our ego, our logic about what is right or wrong, or good or bad. But the event itself, the thing that happened, is completely neutral. It happened, it was. And as it was happening, it was divine. Just like this moment right now that you're watching this video, this moment right here, this event is divine. You didn't get to this video by accident. And I'm inviting you to recognize that your perception of the event, your events in your past, loss of a loved one, betrayal, hurt, anger, joy, birth of a child, loss of a child, trauma, whatever the case may be, those events in the past, when they happened, were divine. They were meant to be, and they were neutral. There was no judgment in the event itself. It was neither good nor bad. And now you have the opportunity, if you're looking back in time and you're feeling anger, bitterness, or resentment about an event, what would happen if you could look at it from the perspective of, you know what, that was divine timing. It was meant to happen that way. You could rewrite the story. You could change the story that you're telling yourself. You could change your judgment of the event and bring compassion or understanding to it. And thereby set yourself free from this bitterness, this resentment, or this despair. Or even let go of the attachment to the good thing, because that can hold you back too, believe it or not. It's not just bad things that hold us back. It can be attachment to very strong positive events. And the idea is not that we should care less or be careless, but the invitation is to view these things that happened in our past, that when you're reminded, it brings up butterflies in your stomach, or you get anxious, or you get worried. This is the opportunity for you to say, you know what? God was there, and he's here right now. And we can reframe the story that we're telling ourselves about what happened to us. And just as an illustration, I had a client who was dealing with, in his marriage, he had his wife had been having an affair for quite a while. And then he found out about it. And luckily, they chose to work on things. But it was still very challenging for him. And on many calls, we would sit down and have a conversation, and he would share how angry he was, or how certain things would stir up these emotions and feelings within him. And he wondered if he had made the right choice. And he started asking, why did this happen? How could this happen? What's the point? Because he had all this anger and resentment and bitterness inside of him. And when I showed him this diagram, how his intentions in his marriage and his communication skills, the things leading up to what drove her out the door to look for love and safety elsewhere, including her actions outside of the marriage, there was this mix of positive and negative intentions there. And now looking back, I'm not saying that the behavior I'm not condoning her behavior or his. But what I'm saying is now both of them are looking back at, what was it, a positive or a negative outcome? It doesn't matter. The event, the thing that happened was divine, and it was meant to happen. So now you have the opportunity to reframe the outcome. How interesting is that? When we start looking at it from a perspective of neutrality, and we can step back from our logic and our justification and our ego and our judgment, we can take a potentially negative outcome and turn it into a positive. You have that power. You have the ability to change the story and how you're viewing it. And recognize that God has always been with you. He's with you right now. The things that happened to you were neither good nor bad. And you have the opportunity to change your judgment on them and the story that you're telling yourself, so you can take your power back and live a life of peace and freedom. The choice is yours. The choice is yours.